Here we are. I am recording this by the end of the year, 26th December 2023. How was this year for you so far? I hope it has been good. We just came out from the holidays. Many people in the world celebrate Christmas, and I shall start there. What does Christmas mean for you? Does it matter how things play out globally? I'm asking you, for you, what's your meaning about Christmas? For many people, it's basically family reunion, having a good time, seeing people you haven't seen for a while, eating a nice meal, and you may trade gifts and stuff like that. It's all peace and love. It's very enjoyable, heartwarming usually. However, that doesn't happen everywhere. In the world, somewhere by this date, people may remember dark things. For example, I still remember when I was a kid, there was in 2004 that big tsunami in Indonesia. I'm sure people still carry a lot of trauma because of that. There are many other things that may be possible for people to link that date with some tragic events. It may be a loved one that departed this world, or we can look at current times. There's war devastating many countries in the world. There's in Ukraine, Russia, Israel. And let's think about it for a second. Aren't you tired of that? The same old things playing out in the world over and over and over again. Fighting fire with fire. It's been thousands and thousands of years doing the same old approach, and people haven't learned yet. You can't put the fire down with more fire. You need water. The fire only exists because the people starting the fire don't know what love is. They carry heavy trauma by some reason, and they are mad at the world, and so they translate that into such situations. I am sure there's more to that for each individual scenario. However, that must be something to keep in mind. Many people keep suffering and people feel they are powerless against that. However, that's not the case really. We create our own reality. We are co-creating our global reality together. How you experience the world individually, how we all experience this world collectively. That's all created by us, whether you like it or not. It is. And I'll get there in a minute about my individual experience this year. But I must talk about the collective side of things right now, because that's what matters right now. We are in a time of life where things are changing rapidly. We are living through a time where the world is going through a detox stage. A detox when it comes to emotions, when it comes to the physical body, when it comes to everything. The frequency of the earth has been increasing these past few years, and it will continue to do so. If you learned some maths in school, of course you have learned it. Frequency, those waves, that's a frequency. And the higher the frequency, the closer each spike in the graphic, each peak of the mountain, let's call it that way, is closer. Do you know what that means? That means that everything is getting closer and closer together. The separation is getting shorter. The detox that's going on right now, it's just everything going out of their comfort zone. It's a shift, a collective shift. The old must fall and the new must come, whether people like it or not. I'm pretty sure that fact won't be very well accepted by some people. Power struggles. We see it a lot in this world. And when everything gets closer and closer with the frequencies, that means that people who have power, fake power, conditional power, because it doesn't come from the heart, right here. It's a power that comes from physical things, like money or influence. While influence can be, and money too, can be powers that come from the heart. If you gain them from the heart, most times it isn't. And I'm sure that such people won't really enjoy their power going away, because it's going away. Such low vibrational frequencies they may be emanating due to the actions they have created in their lives. For those where these words apply to, not everyone in the world, of course. There's like a belief that says money is evil. No, money just shows the deepest parts of a person. The person feels unlimited with the bigger amounts of money. Therefore, if the person is carrying lots of trauma and doesn't deal with that very well and just wants destruction because of that, then of course the money will be an easier way to gain that freedom, that power. Either way, my point is, we are used to see mainstream wise, there's television, disgraces, tragic news, and that's not very empowering, right? That's not very empowering because you see rich people with bad influence. I should be careful talking about rich people because I don't want you to fall in the trap of money is evil and stuff like that. TV usually shows rich people who aren't very nice, but one thing isn't tied to the other. I would say that the sample that shows up on TV, the statistics aren't very good for those who want to see good examples of rich people in the world, but there's a lot of them. However, you don't know much about them because you aren't shown that. You are only shown the dark side of life. And because you are shown the dark side of life, then you subconsciously start believing that money is evil and that you have no power and that everything you want will be hard to get because you keep being screwed over. The politicians, whichever apply to what I'm going to say right now, they keep robbing you. In my country, we had a certain prime minister leaving his position because of those accusations. Nothing new, really. However, you must realize that such thing is basically programming. You do have the power, but do you realize you do? Have you thought about how things could be if you were shown throughout your life the reverse side of the coin, instead of being shown negativity and darkness on television, newspapers, whatever? If you were shown good examples in life, if you were shown good leadership, good examples of leadership, instead of seeing all those disgraces and tragedies in the in the telly, you would basically believe you have the power for to contribute to a greater world. You wouldn't see the world in such dark, dark insight. It's part of the game, and I am pretty sure you don't want to play it that way. You want the power. You want to get what you want. You want your dreams to come true. And you must realize that the illusions of such situation are just exactly that, an illusion. We shouldn't ignore what's going on. We should be aware about everything. We should be aware that there's negativity in the world, and we should be aware there's positivity in the world as well. It doesn't serve us to close your eyes and only see one side of the coin, but that's the nature of this world, to be shown the dark side of the things. And that's good for those who don't want any power struggles, because I assure you, if the polarity of the type of news being shown on TV and wherever your sources of news are, mainstream wise, the ones who have the power right now wouldn't have it right now. Because you know you have the power to change everything. However, on an individual level, there are many examples I know around the internet who are empowered. People who went from zero to hero. And even though sometimes they don't feel like it, they just created a reality. And you can create it too. You must be aware of that. However, on a collective level, there's still way too many people being disempowered, and that's not very good for all of us. But the scale is shifting to both extremes. However, the good side of things, duality serves us for a purpose, to see what we want and what we don't want. But both sides of the same of the coin serve us. We just need to look at how that can serve us. But the good side of the coin, it can grow its power, so that the darker side just fades away. The same way you look at the sky at night and you see all the darkness, the emptiness being illuminated by stars, by the moon. It's full moon today. Oh, it's very good to get the emotions flowing right now. Let's see how we get there. But yeah, the light sometimes can be really bright, and it's up to each one of us to shine it. However, you need to lead by example. The reality is full of bad examples. As I said, you are being shown bad examples of how to navigate life everywhere. People want health, and they are shown unhealthy things, and they engage in unhealthy practices. Eating tons of sugar every day, eating their ass every day, yada yada yada. What else? Politics. You want a real leader, yet when the elections come, basically the one with the most marketing, the one who markets themselves better, the ones with the finest speeches, those are the ones who win. Not the realest ones, not the ones with true power to actually change things. And in my country, it's funny that next year there will be elections, because, like I said, the Prime Minister has quit his position due to apparently. So we have to vote. Last time we were like, what, 40-50% of people didn't vote in anyone. There's lots of distrust in politicians because we all see the world of politics being a bit corrupt for our tastes. It's getting hard to see who to trust. I have developed a way. I'm going to test that next year to see what story they have brought to this world. Wink, wink. If you know, you know. And we'll see how it goes. One should not forget the foundations of life, and that's also a good way to decide who we should pick to lead our country or city or whatever. But you call your shot. Just make sure you don't choose like from a shallow standpoint, from their presentation, their lovely clothes. And of course presentation is important, but that's not the most important, of course. Looks and words are nice, but the heart is what matters the most. What plan of action you got for what you are willing to lead is what matters. Many people talk and then they don't do. And I get it, humans are not perfect. But do you really intend to follow up? To follow up your words? That's something to think about. Anyway, more examples about what do we want in the world. What else? Oh, we want peace in the world, no wars, delete the wars. We want peace in the world, however, how many of you are in peace right now with everything? I am pretty sure we aren't in peace with seeing people suffering for no good reason. However, we must find that inner peace within us. Lead by example. Easier said than done, in this case. I speak from experience. It's a challenge for me too, because when you get frustrated and some things happen over and over and over again, it's hard to have peace. But that's just part of the challenge. You can't run forever. You can try to escape things sometimes just to let things calm down, but in the end you have to face it, not repress it, of course. Repressing is like having a stalker from those horror movies following you in the shadows every time you enter the car. The dark thing follows you, and then when you're the most vulnerable, it strikes and you get hurt badly. You don't want that, right? You keep stabbing in the same wound and the wound gets larger, and then you get explosive. You don't want to explode. You want healing. I heard once a wise lady say that healing is to experience the opposite. So, what is the opposite for you? For every side of you that you need healing on? You need to think about it and feel it. Feel the solution. Thinking is a nice support, but the feelings, how you feel matters. How you feel about the solution matters. Following the heart, not the mind. The mind can have the support for you, but in the end the heart must lead. And this world isn't very good when it comes to the heart leading, because who didn't get their heart broken right now in the world, in this lifetime? Way too common. Especially if you're not a very conventional person. That's not a really easy challenge, but we take it. And if it wasn't a challenge we couldn't overcome, we wouldn't be here taking it. It may take a few tries, but let's do it. Anyway, what else? I'm talking about things in the world where we should lead by example and we aren't. When it comes to me, what else? Tolerance. People don't tolerate very much unconventional people. It's part of the game. Unconventional people tickle others' comfort zones. They make them question the unquestionable. And that doesn't produce very healthy results when it comes to their hearts being attacked. It's been some interesting times during this decade. And, well, for some time, I've been thinking that tolerance was something I had because when people fail, and it's fine to fail because we are human, I tend to be really comprehensive, and I wasn't understanding why others weren't being very tolerant about me, about where I stand. But now I realize that, hey, there are situations where people I expect not to fail, especially after lots and lots of times, and then I get frustrated when they do, and I get a bit ranty. I become a little bit of a cowboy shooting verbally, and that's not really a good thing. And that's how I do not lead by example in those situations. My tolerance gets low, and even though in most situations I am tolerant, in which situations I might not being tolerant. That is it, not being tolerant in those moments. Hence why I attract situations where others don't tolerate me very much. It's part of the game to reflect an aspect of us so we can heal. And paradoxically, whatever that spelling is, paradoxically, the same way I tend to rant at people who keep failing and failing and failing over again in the same things and it pisses me off. I am also failing over and over and over again at being tolerant in those situations. See how this works? The details, the hidden details of things, they tell you all. You need to be honest and do some introspection, some shadow work really deeply to see these things. So, yeah, until I heal this side of myself, I'm pretty sure I'll keep facing people and situations where they don't show any tolerance, where they just rant at me for being me or standing where I stand, and that's fine. It's part of the process, and I take it. Same goes for judgment. Ooh. It's also another aspect of me where I don't really master this little 23 minutes, not so little. This speech wasn't meant to be a public session of shadow work for myself, but that's something that's needed. It's something that's useful here for this topic, and so yeah. So you basically must find where you are not leading by example and start being the change you want to see in the world and in yourself. Because if you just want and not be, how can you see the change be reflected in the world? It's like, for the sake of this example, it's like an intelligent person entering a room full of not very intelligent people. Two things may happen there. Either the not so intelligent people will drag the intelligent person down, or that intelligent person will start rising up the intelligence, let's put it that way, from the people who were in the room already. What if the room is full of not so intelligent people, but even more intelligent people come into the room in a much larger number. What happens? Things get better. They'll start learning, they'll start being. The people who had a low IQ, they will start rising up, and we will get closer to the level of those really smart people. So that's the same logic here. You need to have integrity, to keep your patterns strong. You the, you need to embody the person you want to be at all times and be mindful when you are not. So you train yourself to be who you want, to be the change you want to see in the world. It's really important to be that. It's not easy. No one said it would be. But one thing is to be in denial, or to just ignore that, to think that things are random and you don't matter. You do. Everyone does. It's like I said, you are being used to see the world in a negative mindset. Maybe in the past, people would say you are not good enough, but that's a lie. You are a unique expression of the source, of the whole thing, of life in caps lock. Therefore, there's something unique to you that is here to add something to the table. You need to find what that is and be confident, to gain the confidence within you. And I know how that is. I know how hard it can be to tap into that confidence. I am learning too. Throughout my life, it's been a challenge. It's not easy, like I said, to be an unconventional person. And people smell weakness, especially when they are younger. They want either consciously or subconsciously to be like the alpha, and if they sense any weakness, just like a lion smelling blood, they'll go after you, and you'll feel it. But that's just a stepping stone for you to rise above and tap into something within you that goes above all that. The question is, are you going to stay, in case you haven't through that at some degree, are you going to stay in victim mentality, or are you going to learn the lessons and rise above that? Because that's what you are being called to do. So do it. It's a challenge, especially because we are so deeply rooted to be disempowered in the world. So it's as if you had a drug addiction, but you are addicted to being unempowered, to be a lower version of yourself. So you must leave that addiction. You think addictions are just for material things, just for drugs, for eating sugar and stuff like that? No. We are addicted to being many things. We are addicted to being in comfort zone. We are addicted to being the current version of ourselves. If we didn't, then it wouldn't be hard to become a higher version of ourselves. Just like that. Think about it. Think about how that applies to you. And reflect, think, feel it. Feel how that applies to you. So yeah, I picked the topic of Christmas to talk about the world and how we can how we have the power to change it for the best. And to change it for the best, we must look at the past. So let's talk a little bit about 2023. In 2023, there's something that sometimes happens in the mainstream news. At least they are good for this. Sometimes I see them, hey, let's pick a word that defines the year of 2023. What is yours? What is the word that defines your 2023? Tell me about it. In the comment section, perhaps. I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to think about that. And I challenge you to feel if that's true or not. If the word you came up with feels like the real deal for you for 2023. I can say that mine, I'd call it magic. And to call it magic, I must say the definition of magic. What is magic? Let's think about it for a bit. Magic is to feel really good. It's that feeling you get when something really unlikely happens. I mean, there are many types of magic, but there's the magic from those artistic shows. There's magic like spells, even though words are spells. But that's another conversation for another time. But this magic is like you don't expect things to happen and they do out of nowhere. And it feels like you wanted that thing and that just fell in your lap. Manifestation. Yeah. And the more conscious you are about what you're what about and the more conscious you are about what you are manifesting in your life, the more you will realize that. And this has been a year where that's been happening a lot, either for the good and the bad. I can see why right now why things are happening the way they are and why they are not, and why the ones in the past why they have been like that, according to my current beliefs and thoughts, all of that. Because your beliefs and thoughts and stuff like that, your actions, they all enter the maths into the grander scheme of things in your life. And like yeah, beliefs plus thoughts, uh, plus actions and plus emotions equals manifestation, whatever that is happening in your life. And of course, there may be other variables like that. It isn't that linear, but you get the point. There's also the story you brought to this life, whatever challenges you set to choose here. That also helps to shape the things in your life. But now that I'm telling you this, I'm sure you'll be aware of how things are happening more in your life if you believe my words. If you are not, you can evaluate by yourself and see, and you'll get there as well. It's like all paths lead to Rome, as the saying says. Uh, so when it comes to magic, what happened for me? Yeah, in May. Yeah, May was a nice month for me. Interesting things happened in multiple levels. I can give two examples of magic in May. May the force be with you. Okay. So, I remember back then I wanted to be in a stadium. I would visualize this quite a lot. Usually, men tend to imagine what they will do with their wives at night, but I am not a common man. I tend to imagine myself, an audience, saying epic things with a crowd, a big crowd, a stadium, me being in the center of the stadium, and that feels really nice. I love stadiums, even though I tend to be lonely. It's fun. That's funny because I'm a loner, but I also go to the other extreme and want to be around lots of people and being the center of attention. I guess that's the equivalent of going Super Saiyan. When the moment calls, I answer. So yeah. So anyway, crowd, uh, me saying happy things, stadium, yeah. And what happened in a nice day? There were three YouTubers Aaron Doughty, Matt Schaefer, and Victor Odo. Those guys were doing like a 3 week. It was like a mini course, and they will do some shadow work, homework for us to do, and some live streams as well. And yeah, I was doing the work and seeing more of myself, exploring myself, my shadows and stuff like that, my desires, whatever. And I remember in that day there was about to be a live stream, and I was hyped to go there. And I suddenly received a phone call from a friend. And what did he say? Hey, there's gonna be the final match of football or soccer, whatever. I refuse to call it soccer. It's football, damn it. There was going to be the last match of the season. Do you want tickets to go? I have a ticket. You must call a friend and say you are someone's friend, whatever, and boom, do that thing and you'll get there and boom. And I was like, man, but I have a live stream, but and you're telling me to lie to someone to go. I don't like that. What if he asks me questions and stuff like that? I don't know. I don't like the looks of things. However, I said yes, and I gave it a shot. Maybe that sudden opportunity was bringing me something, and I did. He gave me the number of the guy, and I called them, and guess what? I didn't have to lie or anything. He basically, oh, you're calling me for because of that ticket. So yeah, I'll send you. And I was thinking, oh, but I have to meet him in person. And what if he asks questions? But no, he sent me through WhatsApp, and moved forward, and I moved bleh. I moved forward, and I trusted the process, and things happened. I got a ticket in my phone, and I just went for it. And I don't remember. I didn't watch the live stream, but I don't know. I guess I felt there was something really cool about to happen, and I went on my own, alone. I never watched a football match alone in a stadium. And guess what happened? Funny things happened. Interesting enough, my ticket was placed near the pitch. It was quite close to the center when it comes to the crowd. And then the the off time came, and I had an idea. Let's film a YouTube video. And I did. I picked my phone and I started filming a video about coffee and how it can relate to baldness. That video is still on my YouTube, even though the original one isn't on YouTube because it was way too loud, the music. I couldn't barely hear a thing, but technically the manifestation happened. I was talking, the people were there, like the crowd was right in front of me. Imagine it's you in the crowd, and I was on phone speaking and making gestures. Hey, the Vata Peter rises to the top of the head, and stuff like that. And I was basically, the manifestation had happened. What I visualized, it was happening. I was in the center of the crowd because I wasn't in the corner, of course, and I was talking to an audience, even though the audience wasn't there for to listen to me and they couldn't hear everything I was saying. But I was still doing it. I was still doing it, and I was saying epic things. I was doing a video for YouTube, telling you things you weren't aware of, and yeah, it happened. And I realized that it wasn't not only the visualizations, and I realized that because in those weeks, because I was putting the shadow work within me, I guess I made room for things to happen to me. I was creating my life. It's called dharma. When life happens to you, for you, not to you, like karma, where shit happens. I was I created something in that moment, I was in my visualization. Sometimes I would feel the intensity, the fire of the crowd, of me being in the crowd, and yeah, I was feeling it. I was embodying the version of me who was in the crowd, and things happened. Really cool, isn't it? Not only that, but in that same month, I also manifested the perfect job, the job I wanted. I wanted to experience a job that is from the what I've studied, mechanical engineering, a job that was close from home, something that people will tell me, "Oh no, come on, expand your horizons. You only want jobs close to home." Even though I was sending like my CV to places further, but guess what? Everything I wanted, I got it. Even though there's a dark side to that because I I'm not satisfied because I don't have the impact I want in the world. I don't have the freedom that I want to have in life. 9 to 5. I want freedom. I want to live according to my rules, and that doesn't let me. Being exhausted after being on the computer all day. No. Where's the passion? The fire doesn't burn when I'm at that job. It's good for survival, but I want thrival. I want to thrive. I'm not thriving yet, and that doesn't leave me very satisfied. But that's just another challenge for me to overcome. I would rather very much be here talking to you guys and learning more, exploring more hidden things for me to tell you all about. But give it time. I'm learning. And what else? Oh yeah, more manifestations. The darker things you, when something happens and you keep thinking about it and things won't let go. That's also manifestation. Resistance is also manifestation. Let's say someone upsets you and you think all day about that and you feel the emotion strongly. That's the same thing as the crowd thing I imagined, I visualized many times. You are feeling it. You are being the version of you that is upset with those situations, and therefore you attract more of the same. See how that plays out? You are creating it. You are not in peace with that. You're resisting it. Resistance, not accepting where you are right now. How can you move forward? How can you go to a destination in your GPS if you are not accepting the now, the place where you are coming from? You need to accept that to go to that destination. But you're not. I mean, that felt like projection. I am not. Whatever. We all are not at some degree, I'd say. There's something we are resisting. And you can also see the analogy from the standpoint of electricity. Electricity flowing through the copper wires. You put some resistance in there and the electricity won't flow very well. Therefore, you're not moving to the place you want to go. Yeah. Does it make sense? Nature doesn't lie. Men do. Some on purpose, others by accident, others to protect something from someone. But nature is ruthless. It's honest. You can choose to see the hints that are there. Speaking of hints that nature leaves us, have you noticed how the solar system has the exact same shape as an atom and their electrons? The atom is the sun, the electrons are the planets. Does that mean that the solar system is like an atom for a being way, way bigger, infinitely bigger than what you can imagine? That's something to think about. Hmm. Everything exists at a larger scale and a smaller scale, I believe. So yeah, maybe we are just an atom. Maybe we are just a quark. A quark is like as far as I know, the smallest of the smallest of the smallest particle that science has ever figured out. It's interesting, isn't it? Either way, I'm diverging a bit from the topic, even though these things are very interesting to talk about. Uh, what I was saying, let me think a bit. I'm gonna pause this thing a bit. Wait. All right. So I was manifestation. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, magic. 2023. Yeah, it was magic because of that. Something manifestations. I also one thing that was also magical was me. It was also in May. I, I also had an interesting out of body experience, like experiencing myself as a ghost, wandering around at home. It was really nice. It was a dream, and from that dream, I I transitioned into being at home, wandering, flying around, and then jumping into my body and waking up as if I wasn't sleeping. It was a very smooth transition. That was a very nice thing. First time happening, and it didn't yet. Another one, but yeah, another one for the record books. Yeah. So yeah, we can create our lives at will, our mind, our emotions, our thoughts, what we imagine. This Neville Goddard, you can explore that on Reddit. Neville Goddard on Reddit. You can listen to stories of people saying how this thing works on a technical level, but we are using those techniques on a subconscious level all the time because that's how creation works for our lives. And you can choose to have the power, or you can choose for others to take your power and use it against you or for you, whatever you choose. I tend to control things, so I rather have the power. I can also choose to hand the power away if I trust someone. But yeah, that's something to think about. Either way, let's talk about 2024. What do you want for 2024? Have you thought about it? The same way I said for my own 2023, where I said the word that defined 2023 was magic. What do you want the word for 2024 to be? Do you want it to be magic for you? Maybe. I know what I want for mine. Expression, expansion. Both are connected because as I express myself, I also expand myself. My heart is opened for you all. I say things, you listen to them, seems fine, and I grow from it. I get insights from them. And I feel happy if you do too. Yeah. And perhaps some healthy discussion can start in the comment section. Who knows? And to be fair, I was really hyped to make this video, even though I feel always inspired to say something before the year ends. It's fun to see something fall and for new things to come, because when new things come, there's the opportunity for something greater to come. and we want it. We want greater things. We always want the best. At least I speak for myself. There's the tendency to not be satisfied with what I got, but I should remember that what I got is important. Anyway, 2024. Are you ready? Are you ready to come? Are you ready for what is going to bring to you? I'm pretty sure that by now you have goals. You have goals and you want to make them come true. But do you want your goals to because of your ego, or do you want them from the heart? How do they feel? Do you want to gain just a little mass, go to the gym? How does it feel to go to the gym for you? If that resonates with you, that example. Once you give up in the first week, that's like a meme in the internet. People start things and then they give up right away. Why? Two reasons, at least. You are becoming a new you. You're wiring into a new identity, and the ego who wants you in your comfort zone pushes you to stay in your comfort zone in very subtle ways, and you fall for them, and then that's why you quit. Or you just don't feel it. You don't feel a passion in that goal, and you quit. Both reasons may or may not be linked, but it's a thing. And for me, in this year of 2023, to hire in this YouTuber thing, doing videos more often, I also fell in that trap of comfort zone, and that's fine to admit. Also, work doesn't let me be very much more focused on this, but my way to turn things around is to do shorts. That's a way to do it. However, I prefer the more juicy things, the longer things, the ones where I can expand more upon. But what do you prefer for you? Think about it. Feel it. I feel like, at least for me, and maybe the world too, I don't know, I feel like this can either be a great year or an awful year. Because as I said, the world is changing rapidly, and tomorrow things may be very good, and then the next day they may come crashing down. Lots of instability, and people don't like it. I don't like it. Then again, comfort zone. These times are tickling our comfort zones, are pushing their limits, and that's fine. It's also a way for us to reinvent ourselves, just like many of us did during the pandemic. I did my best to do so. That path led me here, saying these things, exploring new things, hidden things. You take your opportunity and do what you will with that. I chose this one. It feels the best. And what feels the best for you? Have you figured it out yet? And don't feel with your mind, feel with your heart. Because it's easy to be mistaken one thing with another. Your heart with your mind. Because I don't know, it's so easy for our hearts to be broken that we seek refuge in our minds, and then we don't know whether we are in our minds or our hearts. It's been a challenge for me too. but I am learning as I go. It's not something you can express easily with words. Seeking examples of people, seeing the differences, both extremes, it gets you closer to that. Reading between the lines, the subtle details, seeing things from a different perspective, from other people's lens, especially if those people aren't very conventional. And I'm not talking about myself, even though I could, but yeah. If you see people saying something new, perhaps that's worth exploring, because who knows what will change within you? There's so many things we haven't discovered yet. There's so many things left to explore outside and inside of us. It's like that iceberg, the Titanic iceberg. The surface seems not so small, but below surface, ooh, so big, so big, so strong. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add to this. I just want you to have a great 2024. And I also want you to have a great ending for 2023. And I want you to create your own great experiences, because even though, and I feel this too, even though sometimes life can be a bit boring, it can be same old shit. Like it's what it is. Like sometimes we don't tap into those higher levels, those dreams we want, and it's not usually about the ending. It's all about the process. Are you enjoying your process, your journey? If you are, very good, keep it up. If you are not, what you gonna do about it? Are you not enjoying your journey because your mind is conditioning you that you can't? Are you allowing others to take that power and being conditioned by others? You do have the power. You have the power, and you must be reminded of that often, until that is deeply rooted within you. Cultivate those feelings. Empower yourself. Drop as much as you can of what doesn't empower you. If you want to watch the news, make sure you find a source that shows you exactly and nothing else other than what you want to know about. You want to know whether the fuel will get cheaper or more expensive the next week? Find the website that says that, and not much more than that. That's an example for me, which I did, and I'm happy with that. Because pay attention to this. Whatever you're supposed to know, you will know about it. Trust. Do you trust? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust life? Do you trust that life will get what you need when you need? That's called abundance. Getting what one needs whenever they need. It's not about having millions and millions of dollars or whatever currency you have there. It's about you having your needs met. That's a new belief for you, maybe. If your perspective about what abundance is, if this resonates more, then you'll replace the belief you had with this one. And there's many others left to explore, many other beliefs that can be changed, that can be transmuted. Maturity. Maturity means something is immature when it can be transmuted into something better, when it's something that just exists because they don't know better. but it can be better. So many, many mature beliefs in society. Can you identify them and transmute them and slowly and steady shift your life into a better one by changing your own self? Because everything starts at the self. When you were before you were created, you are the product of the desire, of the emotions, of the feelings of two people, your mommy and daddy. Then the physical was created. So yeah, when you create, feel it. Feel the power. And be it. Be the version that has whatever you want. And feel it. Imagine it. Make it real. In your mind and in your life. People talk about the lottery. They want to win the lottery to buy cars, to wherever. What does it mean to win the lottery for you? Does it mean freedom? Then do something that makes you feel more free, that will get you closer to the lottery. But the lottery may not come from the form and shape of lottery. It may come in something else. Maybe in a more impactful degree than the lottery itself. The possibilities are endless, so feel free to explore and feel free to do whatever you want and to make your life the best you can possibly be, because you have the power. No one else does. I assure you of that. And even though sometimes we don't feel like it, that still is true. So yeah, I feel like it's said and done. We crossed the 1 hour mark. Wow, new record. So yeah, may you have the best year ever. I wish you the best. And I hope these words served you well. They came from the heart. The mind helped a little bit. Still learning. And still growing. But hopefully this growth I'm going through will assist you. That's what I believe I can do. And you shall believe it too for yourself, because you can do that as well in your own unique way. And I recommend you to find an outlet for you to do so, because that will be fulfilling, and I'm sure your heart will be fiery when you do it. So go for it. Feel the fire. Peace.